Good morning, everybody, and welcome to In an Instant Pot. Hope everybody is well. It's a bit of a miserable day here in the northwest of England. It's absolutely chucking it down with rain. It's quite windy. I know my girls will be sheltering mostly today. They don't like the rain much, but hey, it is what it is. Hopefully what we're cooking today will give you a nice bit of warmth, a bit of comfort today, because today we're doing sausage and tomato pasta. So a nice easy recipe. You can change things around very easily, and yeah, it's one of those things that it only takes about 6 minutes to cook. So really no time at all. So today I've got some nice large rigatoni, big fat tubes today. Well, that'll make a nice change. Obviously, being a sausage one, I've got some lovely butcher's sausages from our local butcher Kellen's. And these are black pudding sausages. For those who've watched me before, you'll have seen these a couple of times because I absolutely love them. We've got a big tin of tomatoes here, only because it's easier to do one tin than two, and they were on offer. We've got some garlic, so anybody who likes garlic, they'll be happy there. Bit of oregano, some sea salt, an onion, a bit of mozzarella. We've got some lovely sun-dried tomatoes, and we've also got some spinach. So really, and we've got a pint of stock as well behind me and a bit of olive oil. But really, this is such a simple dish. It doesn't take much to do at all. So we might as well make a start. So, as always, we start off with our lovely, wonderful onion. So, there we go. So, just get an onion. You know, and if you want to peel it, you know, slowly, then just peel away, and it'll take you some time. Don't forget you can use these peels in stocks, or if you don't want to make a stock or anything like that, then just save them and put them in a compost. You know, wonderful compost is good for your gardens. So there you are. I've made a good enough start. Let's chop straight into the onion. It's going to be a lot easier. It's a lot easier to peel, he says, as it sort of sticks. So, onions are very cheap. And they're always pretty much available, which is great. Because they make such a good base for pretty much any meal. And I think the humble onion is just a fantastic flavour purveyor. No, you know, it's just something about it. You know, it's you know, a lot of people don't like them. You know, and if you don't like it, well, obviously don't use them. But there's so many different types of onion. You know, and it's, you know, some are sweeter, some are a bit more bitter and wholesome, and yeah, you know. And yeah, I just love them. So, with the onion, all I'm going to do, as normal, we're just going to do it into a little dice. but I ain't doing it with my knife. So I'm going to quarter the onions. There you go. Get good old onion chopper. Put the onion on the top of the grid and push through. It takes out a bit of rubbish, that's fine. You know, these chunks are a bit big, so they might not go totally through, but it does. And again, anything that's not used, anything you don't want, put into a compost or put into a stock. You know, and the good thing about these type of choppers is, A, it's a lot easier, but B, keeps it in there. There we go. Ready. That's the onion chopped. That's half the battle done. Yeah, don't need that knife anymore. So, what else have we got to do? Well, we need to open the tin of tomatoes. And then really, it's all going to be done in the pot today. So, anybody who's got one of these pots, we're going to start off with the saute mode. And let that come to temperature. The sausages. These are a normal size sausage. I'd say that they need to be chopped into 3 or 4 pieces each. So they're going to be like little sausage bites. Now you could get them onto the board and use a knife. Or you could basically just get a pair of scissors and chop them. Use the scissors. There you go. Get a good pair of kitchen scissors and just do that. You know, they don't need to go into another bowl because they've already been into this thing. They're already raw, so why would you want to waste another bowl and have to do more washing up? No need at all. So don't waste the you know, the things you've got in front of you. Use them. You know, and as I said, at the moment I'm just waiting for the Instant Pot to warm up. Once it's warmed up, then all we need to do then is fry off the onions. That'll be nice and easy because they've already been chopped. And then brown off these beautiful sausages. And then add in the other bits and we're done. This is going to be such an easy one. Easy recipe. So, first of all, just a drizzle get your teeth in, of olive oil. So, when that's heated up, we're going to add the onion. And the onions are in, of course, are in my little container. So I'm going to take the top off the container. Well, we're going to use that again later, so you don't need to wash it yet. Because we're going to be I'm going to be chopping the mozzarella through it because it just says you doing it. You might as well put it through. Yeah, there might be a little bit of odd bit of onion in there, but that's not an issue. So that is, I can already see the steam coming from the oil. So let's put our lovely onion in there. Can you hear that? There we go. Onion. So anybody who hasn't used an Instant Pot, the one thing I will say is when it's on the saute function, it cooks really quick. It is so hot. You've got to keep an eye on this bit. You keep it stirring. You can probably see it's already going brown. So let's clean that lens. And you can see it's already browning. And that's not even been in a minute. So, gotta keep an eye on that. And all we're doing is just literally just letting the onion take out some of the lovely flavour and just browning it off and making it just that little bit more tasty to give you that cooked edge. And there we go. It's already started to slow down the sizzle. So we know that that's already nearly cooked. So what are we going to do next? The next thing is we're going to get the sausages and plug them in. Oh yeah, done. And again, all we're going to do is brown these off and just make them seal a bit. The smell of the onion and the sausage is coming through already. And you might be able to see that the bottom of the pan is starting to get a bit sticky. Don't worry about that. So as soon as we add the stock, that'll deglaze the pan. Well, this sausage is starting to break down a bit, it's starting to seal. So now is the easy part. If you've got an Instant Pot, all we're going to do now is press cancel. It's done that job. So now we're going to add in a pint of chicken stock. And look at that, boils straight away. Starts bubbling. So use that and just scrape the bottom of the pot. I like using the silicone spatulas. Do like these. I think they're fantastic products. I do have wooden spoons as well. There we go. So, I'm going to put it onto pressure now, on high, and we're going to set it for only 5 minutes. Or, no, we'll do it for 6 minutes. And it's going to be on high. But before we do that, we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. We're going to add in all those tomatoes. So, these are big tomatoes. Now you can use chopped tomatoes if you want to. If you want to use them with herbs and save yourself adding extra herbs, do it. It's your dish. You know, just remember just to give it a good stir. That's the most important thing. I use garlic puree this time, and we're going to use a good, 2 teaspoons of squeezed garlicky goodness. And again, what do? Just give it a stir. Not a difficult job. So we're going to add some pepper. Just add a crack of pepper. And today I'm using the electric one. It's a little bit finer for the pepper. You can hear it cracking in. So a nice bit of pepper. And today we're going to be using oregano. And I'm going to be using, I don't know, 2 teaspoons, because it's quite strong, it's quite pungent, but we like it. And again, just stir it all up. Yeah. And then, because I love them, I'm going to add in some sun-dried tomatoes, because why not? So you get some sun-dried tomatoes and just chuck them in, and they often come in oil, and if some of the oil goes in, that's fine. That's it. That's all we're using. Just a few. And that's going to add in a really rich tomato base. Absolutely love sun-dried tomatoes. If at this point you think that you might not have quite enough water, like I'm just thinking now, well, you might be likely to add a bit more stock. I'm just using a basic, really cheap Tesco's own brand stock cube. I'm using chicken stock because it was the first one to hand. When you use a vegetable stock, use a vegetable stock. At the end of the day, it's just going to add a little bit of flavour. Break it up a bit. And there we go. Wait for the kettle to boil, then we can add some more stock. So there's the kettle done. So this was the one that had the stock in before, so I'm just going to add another, I don't know, half a pint of stock. So just let it dissolve, give it a good stir. You know, some people say I'm very good at stirring. I don't know what they mean by that, but I'm sure they mean that I get good stock out of a stock cube. I'm going to add that bit more stock. I'm leaving a drop behind because it all depends on how much pasta you're using. Now then, we want the pasta to be totally submerged. So I'm going to add in really little pasta. What I'm going to do is just shove it under the stock. Make sure it's under the stock. You know, and yes, all float to the top, we know that, but as long as it's not totally sticking over the top, we'll be alright. So I know I can get the rest of that in. So that's a 500 gram bag of rigatoni. So this is going to be enough for a good, hearty 4 people's meals. I'm going to put the rest of that stock in. What we're going to do is add a pinch of salt, and that's it. We are done. So what we do is put the lid on, close it, make sure the vent is closed, and as I said, we set it already to 6 minutes on high, and those beeps say we're off. So meanwhile, what else have we got to do? Well, I did say we're going to add in some mozzarella. And I also said earlier, you might as well just use, if you've got one of these things, then you might as well just use it. Why dirty up anything else? You just get your mozzarella. I've just got a little mozzarella here. And again, what we do is put it on here, and this is just go. And there you go. Pre-chopped mozzarella. You can't get much quicker and easier than that, can you? So the next job I'm going to do is spinach, so might as well get the old spinach open. It's ready. 10 beeps. So we press cancel and then we press the release valve. Then you can open the lid. So you can see how much steam is coming out of this. It's amazing. So now it's a case of opening the lid. I'm going to get lots of steam. But can you see now? Just give it a good stir. And you can see the pasta's all gone soft. The sausages are done. The tomatoes have, collapsed a bit and let out their beautiful flavourings and stuff. So, part one complete. If you want to eat it now. But no, we're going to add in spinach. So what we're going to do is put a couple of handfuls of spinach on the top to create its own lid, just like that, and put the lid back on. And all we do is just let it just go in and shove it through. Just let it just wilt it a little bit. So now we're just putting it through. And then stir it through. And this is going to go to absolutely nothing. That's the thing with spinach. It really wilts very fast and very easy. So I've just put the Instant Pot on to keep warm for now. So it's not going to lose any temperature. And can you see what I'm doing now? So now, the final thing, well, I haven't put cheese in. I'm about to put the mozzarella in that I chopped earlier. There we go. You asked about cheese. And all we're going to do is let that melt through. Because we're also going to add, because I decided just now, I'm going to add a bit of cream cheese into it as well. Purely because I want the garlic. So what we do, add in a lump of cream cheese. Nice and done. So what we're going to do is stir everything up. And eventually the cream cheese will melt. The mozzarella is going to melt. You're going to get a little bit of stringiness. There's not a lot of mozzarella, Don't want it too cheesy. But you can see it's changed colour because the cream cheese has gone in and it's added its lovely, I've used the garlic and herb one. I think I'm going to use a bit more. I'm going mad today. For somebody who doesn't like cheese, I'm going to go absolutely crazy. Bung it in. I can't be any simpler. It cannot be any simpler. You just add in whatever you want. That's going to now melt and go stringy. And it's going to be cooked to perfection. And you can see it's now, I can see bits of stringy, you know, the lovely spinach is nearly gone. You know, you can see it's starting to string up a bit, this mozzarella. And that's it, guys. It is now cooked. It's gone all stringy, that's how it should be. It's time to serve. So, make sure you get a bit of everything. It's all stringy. Look at that. So, all we do, little crack of pepper on the top. And then, yeah, I've cheated. I've got some pre-grated hard cheese. I'm just gonna look, more cheese. And imagine that served with a nice garlicky bread. And then the last thing we're going to do is go back to those beautiful sun-dried tomatoes from earlier. You know what we're going to do? Because there's lots of it, I'm going to just take a drizzle of the oil over the top. And there you have our beautiful sausage and tomato pasta.
In an instant, in an instant, in an instant.